was 1991, Frankfurt, wintertime. I'd just woken up to the smell of coffee percolating in Fat Al's little place, about 1.5 metres by 5 metres. A home built inside the pillar of a bridge. Bacon was cooking on the element on a pan, and I'd woken from a horrible dream. Something from my childhood came back to me, so I wasn't in good form. There was a big dribble on the pillow, the smell of bacon cooking and cigarette smoke and alcohol. Some music was playing lightly on a little cheap transistor radio, all scratchy. I turned around and looked at Al's bed, and there was somebody in it. On closer inspection, it was a slim woman with tattoos, and tattoos back in 91 were more rare than they are today on women. Blonde hair, slim, breasts sort of half hanging out, lipstick. And then on closer inspection, I realised I wasn't looking at a woman. Well, today we'd call her a woman. Back then we didn't have pronouns, and it, she, he, whatever, appeared to be a bloke, because hanging out of its miniskirt that was scrunched up with the blankets that was still on, the stockings, was something that women don't have. And I don't care what you say, it was a bloke. I looked over at Al and went, "Al!" He turned around and he goes, "Bacon?" I went, "Well, that's a bloke in your bed." He goes, "Yeah, man, I was drunk at the time. Seemed like a cool thing." Yeah, this guy was passed out with this thing, or this girl or woman, whatever it identified as being, was in the bed. And Al said, "She's from Poland," as if that made a difference. "Oh yeah, it's okay to have nuts if you're a woman from Poland," or something like that. I was shocked. It wasn't the first shock I would have on this trip in Europe. There was many things I would see that just shocked the hell out of me, but this was a real shocker. And I already wasn't in a particularly very good mental state. I'd had a bad dream that night, a bad dream about my childhood, of when I was a little boy, when I was 5 years of age, and I had a teacher called Miss McMahon, and that was in George Street when I lived in Richmond, and I went to Henley School, and I'd done a picture of my dad, and she didn't believe it was my dad because it was so good. So I'd done it with pencil. I'd taken it home to be my homework, and I brought it back to school the next day, and she said, "Your father's done that, you couldn't have possibly drawn that." She didn't stop and think that maybe I was a talented young kid, and she embarrassed me in front of the class and shamed me for being a fake. And then she gave me a big green crayon and told me to reproduce the painting with a big green crayon that was a light, horrible green. And so I went in the corner, because I was a bad kid, and had to do this picture of my father again. There he was on the mountain with his beard and his rifle, my hero. And I reproduced the picture as best I could with a green crayon, and when she looked at it, she realised I had done the original picture, but she tried to gaslight me. "Puh, see what I'm saying? This is nothing like the other picture." I said, "Well, it's in a big green crayon. I'm not using a 3B pencil I need to draw." I was only 5 years of age, and I was ridiculed and shamed. Well, I just had that same dream, so I'd woken up here. Here I am, 27 years of age, waking up, having a bad dream. I'm looking at a man, woman in a bed whose nuts are hanging out, and Al's cooking bacon. I mean, you couldn't write about this. I get up and stretch, my neck's all crooked, and there's a big dribble on the pillow where I've been lying at a funny angle. I get up, and Al gives me a cup of coffee and makes me a sandwich with bacon in it. And this Polish, let's just call this person a woman for the sake of being politically correct, because that's what this person identified it as, comes over to me and goes, "Speak English?" And I said, "Yeah, I am English." Anyway, I can't remember the name, and God, I've been trying all morning. I've been thinking about the story, and I just cannot for the life of me remember, because it was a funny name, an interesting name. It was a name that the person had obviously made up himself. It was an English name, but it was something like cherry candy, or some made up convoluted prostitute name. She was a working class, I still don't know what to call this person, was a working class person. And Al had brought her home, and thank God I'd passed out before I heard any of what was going on that night. We had our bacon sandwiches and our coffee. The coffee was good that morning. I remember the coffee well. Smoked a cigarette, got my rucksack together, and Al and his newfound friend were getting ready for their day. She was ready for going and doing more tricks, making her money, and Al was getting himself to do his usual hustle, which was some McDonald cups and a ball. You had to guess. It's the old thing. If you've ever been around where you got the ball and you got to guess where it is. That was his hustle, and he used to make good money out of that. He had a couple of other hustles, but that was his main one. We're getting ready to go, and this woman that's with Al, I noticed, got all these tracks up her arm, all these tracks on both sides. And I said, Al, she's a junkie, bro. I hope you suited up. I hope you used a Joe when you know. And he was like, well, man, I was drunk at the time. I said, bro, high risk of hepatitis C, high risk of AIDS, man. Be careful, brother. Yeah, man, I'm all cool. I carried on down back towards the youth hostel. When I got there, everybody had their breakfast. Mush, he was the Welshman that spoke like Jamaican. Yeah, man, he talked like that all the time, man. He loved reggae music, and I think he was a wannabe Jamaican, but he was small and white, nothing like a Jamaican at all. And Dan, the American, he could rap. He was there doing a rap with a few people around, and somebody playing on a guitar case doing it. He was throwing these shapes and making this really cool rap. It was wicked, man, it was wicked. They were all having a buzz going on, and I was just feeling crap. I was hungover, stuffed up from my dream of my childhood, still a little bit of shock after seeing the man, woman and Al's makeshift home and the pillar under the bridge, and a little bit lost and not sure where I was going to go next. Excuse me. So Mush says to me, bro, we're thinking of heading south, getting on a train and going south, maybe Switzerland, maybe Greece. We're just going to go south from Germany. I said, well, I'm keen to travel. I'm not staying here. I'm not going to America, but I don't want to stay here. I want to move around and see some stuff. We all came up with a plan, and Stuart, the other guy, Stuart Antilles, the guy from Chicago, the Jewish guy, he said, well, I'm going to stay and play some music. We'll catch up with you. I had acquired a Siemens cell phone. It looked like a brick. I've actually still got it to this day. This really cool cell phone. It was one of the first ones that came out. Well, one of the first ones for me. There were phones previously. That was, I think, in the late 80s, but this was the first one, excuse me, I'd ever had. And I was really, really excited to use it. It meant that you could send texts to people. We called them SMSs back then. They weren't called texts. And the Germans referred to a handheld phone as a handy, because that's what they call them, handies. So I packed that into my belongings, which wasn't much, in the washing I'd done. And from the hostel, the three of us left, Mush, Dan and me, and bid farewell to Stuart. We got on a train and we headed south, and eventually we came to this little town called Baden in Switzerland. Oh man, that was great. I remember getting off the train and Mush had a bottle of tequila he'd stuck in my rucksack because he didn't want to carry too much, and it had broken, this whole bottle of tequila. And he goes, man, you just made the mistake of your life, bro. As if, what was he going to do to me? We all smoked a joint, and then we went our way towards the underground to see if we could find a place to busk. I set up the guitar. I had a guitar, and I had a wee tripod with a little pig nose amplifier that ran on batteries I used to run, so I could play some harmonica through that. And I started off with a song from, what's it called? Kiss. Now, Prince wrote the song, I think, and Tom Jones covered it. And because I couldn't sing like Prince, I started singing sort of like my own version. I guess you could say closer to the Tom Jones version, which I'm not even sure it was out then. You don't have to be beautiful to turn me on. I just want your body, baby, from dusk till dawn. Now, Dan's starting to rap while I'm doing this beat. He's got this rap going on in the meantime while I'm singing. I can't do that part, but it was really cool. You don't need experience to turn me out. I'm in the wrong key. Oh, that's about it. You just leave it all up to me. I'm gonna show you what it's all about. Where am I on the guitar? There we go. You don't have to be rich to be my girl. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. I'm completely playing the wrong chords, but I think you get the drift of the song. It's a funky song, and stuff's going out. Another busker rocks up with a saxophone and sees us, and he's like, "Can I?" "Oh yeah, bro." So I'm playing this, and he's got the saxophone out, and we've got a thing happening. We had a great wee jam down there in the underground. A woman called Priska comes up. She's got like a bobtail hair. She's got this really plush, expensive, light, sort of pale lime green coat, which is made out of, I think it's like a, what's that, sheep's wool? Felt. It's like felt. And she's got gold, and she's red hair with a fringe, bob, glasses, spectacle, quite attractive, watching us all the time, not going away. She's one of our groupies. I'm playing another song now. I'm playing Knock on Heaven's Door, but I'm doing a reggae version because Mush said, "Can you do it a reggae style? Because you liked everything to be reggae." And this woman put some money in our cup. Actually, it was my hat I had on the ground. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Aye, aye, aye. Knock, knock, knocking on. This is going on, this song. And we've got more dancers, money's flowing in, and then suddenly the barn side come along. I didn't know what they were, but they underground police, and they, no, this is verboten here, we've got to stop playing the music, it's all over, show's over. Priska, this is the woman, that was her name, she comes up and says, "Hey guys, fantastic music, where are you staying?" And Dan goes, "Well, we're just on the road, we don't know where we're staying." She says, "You can come back and stay at my place." I'm like, hell yeah, this will be cool. So we all rocked back to her place, but Mush, he didn't come with us. He headed down to the red light area of town to score some drugs, so we didn't see him. But I have got his cell phone number, and he's got a cell phone, so we do have contact. This is a rare thing to have contact back in 1991 on a cell phone, but it's a cool thing. Priska had this lovely apartment. She had all these jars of fruit, all of these jars of preservatives that she'd done. And she had really cool art hanging up. And there was a smell of incense burning, sandalwood. And she had this music in the background, this real peaceful hippie music, something kind of like James Taylor maybe playing, lots of acoustic guitar. And the smell of the sandalwood burning in her apartment was real peaceful. And outside she had a wee deck, a wee place she would have her coffee in the morning, and it had chimes hanging in the trees that would be like dinging. I remember hearing those chimes. Beautiful place. It was like a peaceful little shrine. And she was gentle soul. And I felt dirty there, man. Everything was so clean and I felt dirty. I felt dirty as a person. She was such a pure sort of a person. At least she came across as pure. She was a vegetarian, and she made us a vegetarian meal. First time I'd ever had a meal without like any meat of any thing in it. It was really nice. Yeah, she had this beautiful meal, and she'd made her own hummus out of chickpeas and garlic, and I think it was lemon. And she put a little bit of chili in there, which I liked, and made us these wraps with all these different colour vegetables, and it was really nice. And then we all went to bed, and it was too early, and I was lying in bed. Dan was in one room. I was on the couch again, in my own sleeping bag. Dan was in the room next to Priska, and it was only like maybe 9 o'clock at night. I used to go to bed at midnight. You weren't allowed to smoke in her house, so I went outside and had a cigarette on the porch. And I even felt dirty doing that. Looked up at the stars, which were really foggy because they're just not the same in Europe as our New Zealand. And I looked up at the stars thinking, this is a northern hemisphere, so different to where I come from in New Zealand. I thought about my family, the girl I'd left behind, Catherine Smith, my girlfriend. I gave her up to travel. Thought about where I might be going next. Went back into bed and tried to sleep and couldn't. About 10:30 I heard Dan get up and footsteps across the floor, and a wee on Priska's door. I thought, ooh, Dan. he said in his American voice, "Do you mind if I come in?" And she goes, "Bitte? What?" He goes, "Do you want company?" At this stage, I thought she's going to say, "Nein." She goes, "Ja." Door shuts. Oh, God. The night before, it was like the lady boy with Fat Al, and tonight it's going to be Priska and Dan, and my God, was it Priska and Dan. It started off just like me trying to get to sleep, and I was just at that edge, just sort of going from the wake to the sleep when I heard, It was like, and then I hear, what the oh shit. So this went on for a while. Like, you know, Dan's only like 25, 26 years of age. He's younger than me, and she's probably 35. So it's going to go for a long time. I know it's going to go for a long time. I tried putting a pillow over my head. I had no earplugs. I tried to just think about other things, and finally it stopped. And it must have been after midnight. And then Dan gets up, goes to the toilet, she gets up, goes to the toilet, and the light goes on, and there's no way I'm fucking going to sleep. I go outside and have another cigarette, look up at the stars. I hadn't slept. And I remember thinking to myself, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you always take all your baggage with you. And I'm not talking about your suitcases. You take all your insecurities, idiosyncrasies, fears, hopes, dreams, everything you carry with you. You don't run away from stuff. I was thinking about my father, my dad, a ranger in Fielder National Park on the Renown, working in Dusky Sound and Milford Sound. A man I never really got to know. Parents broke up when I was 10. I thought about, what would my dad be doing right now? He's never been to Europe. He's only lived in New Zealand his entire life, a man of the land and sea. And here I am in this crazy new world I've been dropped into. See things I've never seen before, things I didn't even know exist. It's like weird. Finish my cigarette and go back inside and try to sleep again. Finally get to sleep, and it must be about 3 in the morning, and there it is again. And then it started going to this, 9, 9, 9. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, yeah. Oh, jeez, God help me. I wasn't going to get back to sleep. I got up super early, packed all my stuff up, took my phone, left a note for Dan, went down to it was still dark, it was like 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what time it was, went down to the train station. The underground started running, I think it did one every hour, but I went down there in the underground. And there was paintings that were just immaculate that people had drawn. People had done on the walls artwork that was quite incredible. Now, they don't allow that in a lot of places, but this was artwork that had been done, probably commissioned by the local council or something. And I remember sitting back, still tired from sleep deprivation, looking at that artwork there and thinking, and seeing the beauty in it and thinking, you know, even when you're like got sleep deprivation and you're hungry, I wasn't that hungry actually, I'd eaten pretty well, but I was just in a weird state that this art looked so beautiful, all the colours, and I found something peaceful to get lost into. Took out my harmonica, and there was nobody to play music to, I was only playing it for myself. I put the hat down, just the rare chance that somebody might walk past, but it was early in the morning. Took out my harmonica, and I haven't got a harmonica here, I'd play it to you. Oh, I don't have one in here, otherwise I would play it for you. Normally I've got one in the sound booth. And I started playing this eerie harmonica feeling, which was just sort of like a feeling of lost, slightly depressive, but slightly elevating as well in here. And it echoed all the way down through this cold, and it was cold because it's wintertime. I'm wrapped up to my neck. I've got a scarf on. Everything's really cold. And it goes all the way down, and it's a cool sound. It sounds really good. You get this natural reverb. And it goes all the way down. And it's almost like I was the piper calling all the rats in, or the children in, the Pied Piper of Hamelin, because soon all these people from out of the woodwork came, and they were the people of the night, people that lived in the underground. And people did live in the underground, even in Switzerland, even a rich place. And they all came through. Not a huge number. First of all, it was an old guy shuffling along with a blanket around him. He was sort of like walking with his bed. And then there was this woman who was probably my age but looked 10 years older. She'd been living on the street and doing it hard. There was a couple of twins, a couple of black twins. They were really cool. I don't remember what it was they were actually wearing, but it wasn't normal. It wasn't normal conventional clothes. It was something from their country. They came from something like Somalia or something like that there. And all these different people around. There's a lot of stuff I can't remember because it's just a long time ago, but I do clearly remember the two black twins, because I think the thing I remember about them is that they had blue eyes, but they were black. They might have come from Barbados or one of those countries, I don't know, but it's just, I'd never ever seen a black person with blue eyes. It looked really, really beautiful, really, really beautiful. And they were both the same. Yeah, two men of probably, I don't know, maybe 18, 19 years of age, and really kind of different clothes. So I was seeing things I hadn't seen before. This is early in the morning. By now it's about 5 o'clock, and there's the only light that's down there is the lights. It would be dark outside just about still, but we're in the underground. And the first train's just come by and a whole lot of people have got off. They're the guys that are doing the really early morning shift somewhere, or changing shift, or finishing work. And they're shuffling, and a few came through. And I'm sitting there quite cold and I'm quite thirsty. And this woman is standing with her husband, I presume is her husband, and they've both got these hot coffees. And I'm thinking, oh God, what do I do for hot coffee? And they're looking at me. And I said, man, I would die what I would do for a hot coffee right now. And the woman looks at her husband, they say something, a nod, and he goes away, didn't think anything of it. I played 3 more songs, and suddenly this guy comes back after. I was singing this song, goes this. Ooh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. I was singing that song there, and a few people were singing, and this coffee comes in through the song. I can remember getting to the chorus. And when my mind is free, you know, and I stopped because this is coffee. This woman has taken it from her husband. She's holding it out for me, this hot steaming coffee. I was like, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah. And I got this coffee and I wrapped it round, and you know, I just got this incredible feeling of love and hope for humanity, that here I was, the stranger in underground with my guitar on the other side of the world, 12,000 miles from New Zealand. Here I was, and a stranger, complete stranger who knew nothing about my history, nothing about me, had just bought me a coffee, and it was a fucking nice coffee, and they make good coffee. Nestles, man. I mean, that's the land of coffee there. You couldn't have got it more perfect, and I drank it, and everybody watching could see my pleasure. And the two twins at the front that were hanging out music, one of them had been playing it was like a lunchbox he made into bongos. He clapped when I got the coffee, and then his bro clapped, and then some other people clapped, and everybody looked at the couple that had bought the coffee, and it was just a beautiful moment, man. Just a beautiful moment. There are beautiful moments in this life. Don't ever think there aren't. If you're ever struggling with any shit, man, things come along and they surprise you. Human spirit's an amazing thing. Yeah, we do shitty, horrible, nasty things. We do sadistic things. We do cruel things. We manipulate, we deceive, but we also do beautiful things. And we bring colour and love and joy and happiness and laughter, humour and excitement. So you've got to follow the good shit, don't you, and gravitate towards that. And so often I used to always gravitate towards the negative and think the worst. My cup was definitely half empty those days. These days it's 100% half full. But I was finding my way, and there I was, drinking that coffee, just appreciating that moment. I decided I would get some breakfast after making a good amount of money, so I went to a bakery. And in the bakery, there was a guy there who was just awesome. I walked in there, and you meet people, you remember them. I remember this guy so clearly like yesterday. We're talking 33 years ago. I'm 60 now. I was 27. 33 years ago, I go in this bakery, and there's this guy there, and he's just so upbeat to walk in. He's probably my age. He's strong, healthy. He looks like the person I always wanted to be. Chiseled face, strong body, muscular. Here I'm, this runty little skinny guy from New Zealand, just looking like the cat dragged something in from out of the cold. And he's such a big beaming smile. He looks at me, and and speaks to me in German. Can I help you? Bitte schön. And I said, you speak English? He goes, yeah, I speak English, man. He actually had a slightly Irish accent. I don't know. He probably learned to speak it in Ireland or somewhere. That's what often is the case. And I said, oh, I'm after a great breakfast. He said, well, I can give you the pain chocolat, which was a croissant with chocolate in it. I can give you that there with a coffee, but for a really healthy breakfast, let me introduce you and let me show you the salad. So there was this big salad, and it had cuts of turkey meat in it, or chicken. I don't remember which it was. I think it was turkey. I'm pretty sure it was. And I said, I'll have that, and for dessert, I'll have it was pain chocolat. That's what he called it. It's a croissant. Pain chocolat croissant. Somebody correct me on that. There's a way to say it. And pulled out my francs, and I had all these coins. And he goes, what's with all the small change? I said, well, I'm a musician. He goes, oh, you're a musician? I said, yeah, I busked for this. He said, you busked for your meal this morning? I said, yeah. And he said, bro, he said, if you don't want real fresh, we've got last night's stuff that we've now got to throw out. It goes to the pigs and the chickens, but honestly, it's perfectly fine, and it costs you nothing. I said, hell yeah, man, that's me, because I was saving every dollar. And so he took the stuff from last night. I had the salad, it was the same salad, and he put the croissant from last night, and he just put it in a microwave and heated it and warmed it up again, and the chocolate melted a little bit, and that was my dessert. And all I paid for was a coffee. They had another coffee. Remember that? I went back to that bakery pretty much every chance I got while I was in Baden. Here's where things go really pear-shaped. They have a system on the buses over there, and there's a wee box in the bus that you put your ticket in and you punch it. You buy a ticket and you get so much credit and you punch it. I didn't realise that, because back in New Zealand the system was such that somebody comes around and punches your ticket. So I bought this ticket, it had 10 things to punch, and I hadn't seen the wee box that you punch it. And I travelled around the bus quite a bit so far in Baden. I'd use this ticket all the time, thinking it's probably lasts for a month or something. I hadn't read it because it's in German on it. I'm on the bus just cruising along, feeling pretty good in the morning, heading back towards Priska's place. By now Dan's probably stopped banging her. And these two Bahnpolizei come on the bus. They stop at a stop. There's a man and a woman dressed in black, and they go through all the bus and they're looking at everybody's tickets, and I thought, I wonder what they're checking their tickets for. And I'm sitting right beside the machine that you could punch it, didn't even notice it there. They come up and go, ticket. They go, there you go. And the lady goes, oh, das ist verboten. That's forbidden. I said, what's verboten? And she said, English? I said, yeah. She said, it's forbidden, you haven't punched your ticket. I said, yeah, well, that's your job. She said, no, you must punch the ticket on the bus. You must do this when you come. You cannot ride free. And I said, I'm not riding free. I paid for the ticket. I come from New Zealand. In New Zealand, we do it and someone comes around and punch it. I was just waiting for you guys to come around and punch it. No, das geht nicht. And the other guy's coming up there and he's getting out his book and name, passport. I'll take the passport out and show them passport. He grabs the passport. I said, hold on a minute, that's mine. Nine. I said, you can't take my passport. Yeah. I said, well, and now they're leading me off the bus, and they're taking me into a tiny little, it looked like a little golf trolley thing, it's like a little, what would you call it? Well, it's a Toyota van, but it's tiny. It's got a wee thing in the back. I'm sitting in there like a little prisoner in the back, separate to them, and they're trundling me off down the side of the train station, because we stopped off at a bus, it's a train station, bus station, they're all the same place, to another place, which is another station, and pull up, and they take me out, and everyone's looking at me as if I've just committed bloody murder or something. Getting off the bus, I've got my rucksack, I've got my guitar, I've got all my stuff, and they're leading me into this little room, and it's got 3 little small rooms opposite, and there's a black guy with dreadlocks with his head down. It's still quite early in the morning, it's only like 9 o'clock. He's sitting down just looking really down, and the other 2 are empty, and I sit in the middle one, and I'm waiting. They say, stay there. A very attractive woman, quite large, I won't say overweight, but quite large, huge boobs, like big bullets sticking out behind the desk, probably my age. She looks up and smiles at me, looks back down again, and then she goes, come. I go up to her, and she's got my passport. They've given her my passport. And I said, you've got my passport. You can't take a person's passport off them. She said, we're not taking it off you. We're only holding it for a time. You've got to pay 50 francs, 50 Swiss francs. Back then they had francs. Today I believe they have euro. I haven't been back since. I said, I don't have 50. I've been busking. I've probably got about 25. she looks me up and down and says, well, I can't give you your passport back until you pay it. Can you get some money some other way? I said, well, I could get my mum to wire my money. I've got money in New Zealand, but I don't travel with it. I'm trying to get by with what I've got. She said, I'm sorry, that won't work. I said, well, what am I going to do? She said, well, there's some paperwork that I can do here. It's going to take me a while. I'll fill it out. I'll get your details, and then you can go, but you'll have to come back today to pick up your passport, and you won't be able to take your passport with you. I said, all right. So I went and sat back down, waiting for her to fill out this passport and all the stuff. She's got my stuff. She's writing down. She's stamping things and doing all sorts of stuff. And I was talking to the guy beside me there. I said, hey, bro, what are you doing here? And this guy's he's a Rastafari. He's looking at me really out of it. He goes, oh, man, you don't understand. I said, I don't understand? What don't I understand? Everything he said to me made no sense. Head downtown, you know, do my thing, and I could make no head or tail of anything he said. It just didn't. And then her mama said to me this, and I went back, but the colour's all wrong, bro. I realised this guy had smoked way too much electric broccoli, way too much of the ganja, way too much of the electric broccoli. He was fried. This is what happens if you do too much drugs. You can't do too many drugs without becoming something wrong with you. This is always going to be, and that includes pharmaceutical drugs too, for that matter. Anything that changes the brain is not good. Over a period of time, I don't care what you say. We're just sitting in there waiting, and a song comes on the radio. Summertime, and the living is easy. Now, the song's playing. The woman who's processing is singing under her just while she's working. She's singing, summertime, da 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 da. And I'm listening. And I said, hey, bro, to the guy next to me, she has got a frigging good voice. He's like, yeah, man. It was the first thing he'd said that made sense. We're just like listening to her singing. She's just like doing papers. While she's doing the papers, your daddy's rich, clonk clonk, and you're this high. And I said, whoa! She looks up, she goes, bitter? What? I said, you got a dynamite voice, woman. She goes, oh, nah. I said, you can sing. I said, can I get my guitar and we have a jam? She goes, no. And I said, look, there's only you, me, and Rasta Boy here, why not? She said, this is for Borton. I said, you're singing right now while you listen to the radio. I could even play that song. And she's like, no. And I said, kill the radio, let's do it. She looks around, she goes, echt? That's German for really. I said, yeah. I said, what's going to go wrong? She looks around again. She goes, ein bisschen. That means a little. So I get the guitar and I play the song that she's singing, but she was singing in probably a higher key like here. Let me, for the sake of the video, do it in the key I could sing so I can showcase. So I reggaeed it up for Reggae Boy. I thought it might make him come alive, because it should be like this. Summertime, and living is easy. But I was like this. Was summertime, and the living is easy. And old Reggae Boy, he started to come alive. He was playing on what looked like to be a duffel bag with something inside it. He was like, and the living is easy. But she's now singing. And I said, gave her the next line. She goes, so hush, little baby. And she sings this beautiful voice, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up, sing. And then one of her colleagues walks in and she stops straight away. And keeps writing it off. Oh, come on. And the colleague goes, keep singing in German. Sings mehr in German. So then we carry on again and she's like singing shy because the colleague's there. And he's looking at her and he said, ich habe had keine Ahnung. I had no idea you could sing. So it's a real upbeat thing going on here. Finally, it's all finished, and she says, you can go now, and gives me a piece of paper that it's like a makeshift passport until I can come back with the full amount to pay the 50 francs to get my passport back. I said, thanks. She said, I've got to go too. I said, where are you going? She said, I'm finished. I said, but it's only like 10 o'clock in the morning. She says, yeah, I do the night shift here, and I finished the early morning shift. Oh, she must have started at some ridiculous hour, like 2 in the morning, I don't know. So I said, well, why don't you come for a busk with me? Oh, she goes, no. I said, look, I'm going to go make the money to pay you guys back. The least you could do is help me. She's like, no. I said, well, can I buy you a coffee? She goes, are you hitting on me for a date? And I said, could be. She goes, yeah, I'll have a coffee with you. So we go back, all the way back to the bakery. And I go back in there, and the really cool guy is there from the morning. He's back there. I can't remember his name. I know because he introduced himself, and I can't remember her name. I got really bad recall on this one for people's names, probably because they're all European. He was a name like Andreas or something. What the hell was the name? God damn it. Nah, sorry, can't recall. Sorry. Anyway, we're having there, and I buy her a chocolate croissant, pain chocolat, and another coffee. And I get another coffee too. And we're sitting there and we're having this coffee and talking and that. And she's quite big. Like I'm real skinny. She's real big. We look like an oddball couple, you know. She was like beautiful, strikingly beautiful, way out of my league, and yeah, beautiful but big, like a really big woman. Massive boobs, and I keep on looking at her boobs, or try not to at least, because, you know, I'm 27-year male with testosterone running through my veins, and she had these beautiful lips and brown eyes. God, I wish I could remember her name. So we're talking and that there, and I'm telling the guy that this woman can sing, man. Talked about how we'd met and that on the bus and the ticket, and eventually we end up back down the underground. And there's a little bit of electricity going between us. And I said, come down. She said, I'm not going to sing, I'll watch you. So I did a few songs down the underground, played a few songs. And she's watching me the whole time. I left a good job in the city, working for the man every... Now, as soon as I started playing this song, she knew the Tina Turner version of and she started singing just over there. Night and day, but I never lost a minute I was sleeping, worrying about the way things might have been. Big wheels keep on turning, Proud Mary keeps on burning, rolling on a river. And she's doing her bit. And there's these people starting to come and gather around, and we are starting to create a cool atmosphere. This is what I love. This is what I live for. This is the sap that runs through my tree. This is my quickening. This is what gives me everything. And not only does it give me like the feeling of belonging to something and expressing something and creating something and communicating with people, but it also gives me an income where I can put food in my mouth and pay my bills. And that's exactly what we did. We did 3 songs and then she had to go. I asked her for her number. I got it on my cell phone. I got the number before she left and finished off, made enough money, went back, and I paid off got my passport back, paid off the other, because I only need another 25 francs, paid the 50 francs to get my passport back, and left with a valuable lesson about how the buses work in Switzerland. Now I was heading back now towards where Priska's house was, the nice little cool place with the cool art. She'd be at work now. But I finally reached there, and the smell of the sandalwood incense burning and the wind chimes. And there's Dad looking absolutely rooted on the couch. He's been shagging all night. I said, how you going, Dan? He goes, yeah, good, man, good. I said, you had a good night? The phone rings, my cell phone, and it's Stuart back in Germany. And he gets, this excitement comes over. This is a phone call that changed my entire life. And I mean, this phone call was pivotal. It changed everything. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys today if I hadn't got this phone call. This phone call, wow, it blows my fucking mind. I've got goosebumps thinking about what this did. I got goosebumps. Look at it. It's not cold, but man, look at my arms right now. Look at that there. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see. I've got goosebumps. Probably not. I've got them all down my back. Whew. He says, bro, all my life I felt like I was on the wrong planet, and suddenly I've landed to where I need to be. I've been playing these gigs on this Irish pub circuit. There's 450 Irish pubs scattered throughout Germany, and they all love live music. And I'm playing in this place in St. Ingbert, the town of St. Ingbert. And there's all these people, bro. They pay you 250 Deutschmark, and you go around with a tambourine or cup, and you get another 200 to 500 Deutschmark in tips. You make all this money, and people just love you, bro. You got to come back to Germany. That phone call resulted in me staying in Germany from 1991 to 2000, year 2000, and then I came to New Zealand from 2000 to 2005, but I fly back each year and play. 13 times I went back and forward from Germany to New Zealand, and I stopped off on the way. 13 times I made that trip, and I played 3,159 shows on my books from that day onwards. What unfolded in those years, well, those are stories for another day. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep talking about Germany, if you want that, or if you would much rather hear my tales of when I was younger in New Zealand. I am undecided on what's more popular to you and what I feel like really talking about. So comment below on what you'd like to know. If you want the tale of Germany to carry on from 1991, where I became known as Spider and I played with Stu, Spider and Stu, or if you'd like to go back in time, comment below and I'll add them all up and think about it, and that'll be my next throwback. Anyway. Bang the guitar. Go steady. If you know a brother that's struggling in life, having a hard time, or a sister for that matter, consider sharing one of these stories, because I made the Bro Check Club to help people that are struggling, because I've lost people along the way that struggled to the point where they tapped out of this life, and that's an absolute tragedy, man. So if you know someone that's struggling, share one of these stories with them. They might get something from it, might just give them some hope or some joy, or just take them away from the hard time they're going through right now, because we all go through hard times. Anyway, have a smashing good day. Go steady, and I'll see you next Bro Check Club video. See you later.